Welcome to Pissed Pirates. We're not pissed at One Piece. We're pissed at you.
I hate you, specifically listener. Whoever you are, I specifically despise you with all my heart.
Actually, the one thing I didn't put on my notes, Jack, you sent me that Jello Apocalypse video.
Oh, shit. That was the main thing I came in hot, I think. But
holy shit.
We could definitely talk about that. I'll type it.
And you know, I actually haven't watched it, so I'm like, maybe we can watch it together or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we could we can try it out.
Yeah, we could see. But yeah, how are you feeling?
Like about One Piece? It's okay.
Well, I mean in general, like.
Oh yeah, I guess like for context for anyone listening, like I've been going. We were trying to record earlier, but my ass gave myself a concussion at the beginning of September, and then I've just been recovering that for the past 3 months, and I'm at a much better point than I was. I'm still recovering. I'm probably about like 70%, like the way there. Like I think, I think like probably like March or something. I'll be there.
Recouped.
I'll be recouped,
yeah.
But it's just a long and slow recovery. But I've been able to start recording Milk again after whatever. It was weird. It was like the longest break I've ever had from
content
ever.
Videos.
Like since I started making it when I was like 12. Like
That's freaking weird.
It was such a weird. Like my identity was so weird. It was a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna make a video about it, but
that'd be great.
So maybe that'll be out. But probably not.
Same with mine. I've been toiling at my shit because I've been like, I was like, oh, I'll put it in like October and then November, and now it's December, and I'm still like at the. I just recorded them like re-record after I rewrote a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
I re-recorded it yesterday, so they're now. It's now 3 20 to 30 minute videos. So.
Shit.
Love that. Yeah, we're moving now.
We're moving. That's
doing okay.
Well, that's at the least you recorded it. That's good.
I know. At least I did something.
Yeah, but no, we planned on doing this before, had to delay it, and I'm glad we could get together finally, do some more fucking Piss Pirates, cause I don't know, I feel I do have a lot to say about the recent stuff. I'm kind of like I'm pretty mixed.
Really?
I'm pretty mixed on One Piece, I think, as a whole.
I hear you.
Because it's like maybe we can start with a fan letter, because that was like that shit, man. Like that was one of like the first things I watched like on a TV.
Oh, when you got out.
When I was in my concussion.
Really?
And dude,
when you recovered?
Yeah, when I was recovered, like it was because I was like slowly increasing my screen time. And fan letter was one of the first things I watched, and it like fucking brought me to tears. I was fucking bawling.
I bet.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Genuine. Like it's everything I think I love about One Piece.
It is, yeah.
And like
I keep remembering how Ishitani talks about her directing style, like, or like the thing that she cares about the most is like how anime makes her feel when she was a kid. She wants to like capture that very specific feeling.
Yeah, it's
like the way that an OP feels, or the way like it kind of feels nostalgic in a way. She just is able to render that for like 20 minutes on end, and not not make it feel super like soupy or repetitive or anything. It's just like nonstop iconic shit.
Yeah, nonstop iconic shit. And there was like that the fan letter was so interesting because I feel like it juggled the different stories so well. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, which is so weird to me because I think Oda does that worse. Like a genuine like Like Oda does it so much like it had like a couple of characters we're focusing on, and they all got like the focus, and it's
just enough.
Yeah, just enough for the Marine guy and the Nami. What's the Nami girl's name? I forgot her name.
No, she doesn't have. None of them have names.
That's
the interesting thing.
That's what's. See, that's so attached to them. It's
right.
That's what's so good about, and it has that there's a goal that she wants to reach, and it's kind of like a small little adventure, like for her to try and do this, and it has the emotional aspects. It's also really funny.
It's a collection of stories that it's based on, and I believe those stories were written in isolation of each other, not like at different times. I think they were all collected into one thing.
Yeah.
But they are distinct, like disparate chapters that don't actually link the way that the anime does, which I believe is credit to the series composition, like the writer for fan letter. I just saw like today or yesterday that Ishitani tweeted out a New Type magazine article and highlighted the fact that fan letter is like a collaboration of her, the director. It's a particular name, that's very abbreviated and short. I'm so sorry, I forgot I don't have it written down. But it's the animation director and character designer. The way it looks, right? Yeah. Very distinct and like beautiful.
Yeah, man, it was beautiful.
But then and then the writer. I really think that the writer was a really strong reason for its success because it's so tight, which I think One Piece fans are not used to.
Yeah, no, it's like they made the best episode of One Piece, and like Luffy's barely in. Like I genuinely think it's like I don't know if it is. Like I'm saying that just because that may be partly recency bias, but the way that made me feel, I was like, man, they killed it. Like the writing and. Yeah, the way it was like a symphony, a harmony of everything together. It was so
and
great.
like I said, it wasn't like it was very, very smart because it knew which ones deserved the most attention.
Yeah,
like you think of all these stories originally, they're all kind of even together, including like the chopper general guy or like the Navy soldiers who are arguing who the greatest swordsman is. And stuff like that. They didn't get equal focus to the Nami clone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Nami clone.
And like the two brothers, right? Like those were clearly the best ones to give the right amount of attention to, and then to use the girl as the spine that sort of connects all of it. It was just really, really smart. But like they gave each of those beats just enough. They mattered and were featured in some way that like the whole thing fit together like like the puzzle, like the theming, like the thing, like the thing that it does.
God, it was,
yeah.
I was because I saw all the hype on Twitter, and then like Core, like he watched it. He's like, Jack, you have to watch this. Like this is amazing.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, shut the fuck up. Core stopped reading like right when he started Water 7, so I'm like, shut your bitch ass up.
Yeah,
it can't be that good. And then I was like, is that good? It's just it's just that good. Like
I definitely rewatched it maybe like 8 times.
I should rewatch
most of the times through like other people's reactions and stuff.
Oh, dude, that must be.
But like I watched it myself, and then I watched it with my roommate in our living room, and then I saw like 5 different people watch and react to it. Like oh god,
yeah,
it's really impressive.
That was emotional, man. That was
definitely.
Yeah, no.
And honestly, though, like I think the rest of the anime has been no slouch. Like
I watched.
I think the reason it's not. Everyone's like super zenith, and it's literally like number 2 on Mal right now. I think, at least it was last time I checked.
Yeah, I saw the Mal show's crazy. The free run is like number 1.
It's been number 1 for like a year, I think. So it's like I
remember I watched the first episode when it dropped with like Steve Sakai in Japan, and I was just like, it's kind of mid, bro. I'm just like, damn, people like that.
Yeah, no, it's.
But maybe it's good.
Right. I hear you. No, it's another case of me with just like it's like Ranking of Kings or Dungeon Meshi.
Fucking hate that show, bro.
I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for them to be done.
Fuck Ranking of Kings, bro. And that shit.
Oh, really? Damn.
That ended up. It was literally such a good show, and then
I did hear like the last third of it,
dude.
Yeah.
But like the last third of it still like animation-wise looks so good, but
oh sure.
It's just.
But it's more like you don't care at that point, kind of thing.
It's what people make fun of One Piece for, I think.
Oh really?
Like in certain ways of just like how there's no consequences, like. Like in Ranking of Kings, I guess a tangent for anyone who's interested in listening.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's like a character.
So
the main character, like his like entire family is murdered by this one person, and then he has to like end up forgiving the person at the end, and then like his brother ends up marrying the person. It was really fucking weird. Like it was some weird ass shit.
What an interesting take.
It didn't hit for me at all, and I was like,
wow.
Fuck, this looked good. And then
I hear you.
Fell off.
Interesting.
But yeah, anime aside, the Fishman stuff. I watched the first episode of that one. I was
Yeah.
surprised at how like I'm like, damn, they made Fishman look good. That was cool.
It did. It does look really good. And I say the recent episode where they finally arrived on the actual island looks phenomenal.
Nice.
And because you know, and I'm rewatching it. I think it's actually really great on a rewatch because I think you're so. I think I remember at that point for me, I was just so happy to have the Straw Hats back together for that arc that I wasn't even really paying that much attention to where they were or how significant it was.
Yeah.
Because I think as a reader who may have been up to date, that would have been more momentous because they were saying Fishman Island since Water 7.
Yeah,
Since
it's a
the
similar
end of Water
to
7, like we're going there, and then Thriller Bark happens, and then they get to Sabaody, and it's just a pit stop, but then it makes a complete detour and a whole time skip, and then finally they get to Fishman, and it's like, it's actually a really beautiful spot. It's like it's supposed to be on the levels of like Skypiea and Wano and Elbaf.
Yeah.
In terms of beauty and like holy fucking shit, we're here. And yeah, I mean, I've never really knocked the anime for its visual quality necessarily because I just think I was so.
Well, you're the number one
immersed in
glazer.
the story.
You're the
You're
the number one anime glazer. So.
Right. But you know, regardless of that, I'm very happy that they're redoing it with Log because especially just because I think what they're doing is something that a lot of I think One Piece fans would not like, which is cut content. You know, they've been trimming some jokes and some speech bubbles and sometimes an entire page here or there, and that's like a mortal sin, right?
Yeah.
But like the original anime really went out of its way to not do that, to the point where, you know, it's including all of these stuff that Oda's fitting like 5 or 6 jokes in one panel, you know, that the reader can very comfortably read, but in an anime you have to really pace all of that stuff out so it stretches it.
Like Luffy.
and I like that because I mean, again, I would rather these moments be savored and like really take their time than just kind of hit the beats and move on. But I think this really functions when the original already exists. If you want to watch that, the remake I think I shouldn't really call it a remake. Log is great for people who are that it's a rewatch for.
Yeah,
because it really trudges through the material in a really good clop.
Yeah, and I think
you don't really miss a lot.
I think specifically like among One Piece fans, I feel like Fishman Island is like one of the like least regarded arcs. Like people shit on it a lot, and I think for good reason. I think the anime, I guess, is partly to blame. I would say.
Yeah.
I think particularly, I remember around that time, I feel like I started to feel it was a little bit elongated and also visually. I think it makes sense why they started there. I don't know if that is they looked at all the arcs and was like, which is the ugliest and which one could be better. But I think it's a good place to start because I think that and like Punk Hazard, from my memory, were a bit rough around the edges.
I mean, it worked really well with Fan Letter too. Like it came out like right after Fan Letter because that's
so
like
smart.
Return to Sabaody. It was really smart. And I don't know. I'm actually really not sure that the precise they said that it was because it was really important for what was I don't know if they said it for what was currently going on.
Is it?
So if they're which is not really the case.
Yeah,
from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do they mean by that?
I'm like, really important. Like, I think there's a lot
it's
of good
important
setup.
In general.
No, it's
don't
hella.
Get me wrong. It's very important.
It really establishes Jinbei. You know, it sets up the Fishman like backstory with Orihime. Isn't that the?
Yeah, and Fisher Tiger.
And Fisher Tiger. I think that backstory is really good.
It's the highlight. It's definitely
the highlight of the arc, and it's just like. The villain sucks so bad that it's like
but like on purpose. That's what I like. I really think that Hody sucks on purpose.
Yeah, well, he's a tool to so Luffy and
for
Zoro
like the hate for like the useless hate for the useless hatred of their existing grudge that they have, which is justified in some ways and then not justified in others. And it also sets up Shirahoshi, who I think who is one of the 3 weapons. You know. Like, it's going to be important in the end game.
I just think, like, and I think most people think this too. Like, it's just Hody, like, even if intentionally, like, shallow, like, it's just not fun to watch. I
Sure.
like, from what I was, like, watching, it's just, like, I understand completely like where Oda was going with that, but I think it didn't hit, especially like in contrast with the villains that like came out like Caesar and Doflamingo and like Big Mom. Like I think those are like some of the best like antagonists.
And Akainu right before
that.
And
Akainu.
Akainu came out right before, like the arc before.
Or even fucking the prison guy, the poison.
Magellan.
Magellan, yeah.
Yeah, Magellan was really threatening. Yeah. But I agree. I know what you mean, and I think if you set expectations that way, and that's another reason why I think a rewatch really works for me, because I have my expectations set of like who Hody is, and his position in this, and also like Vanderdecken, who I know nobody likes.
No, I'm not a big fan of him either. He was okay.
Totally fair. I guess I just like a little shitter. I don't know. He's I guess just the fact that it results in a really funny joke with Shirahoshi of Taipa Janai Desu, like it's so fucking cute and funny. Yeah, anyway. But I know what you mean. I agree it's really great they're doing it with this, and I do hope they do this for subsequent arcs with Punk Hazard and Dressrosa. Only because I would love to just rewatch those arcs again. Not because I personally don't think they fumbled them as bad as people say they did, but I would say that like I think there could be potential improvement in both of them.
The Dressrosa would go crazy. I think that I like the Dressrosa, like we don't need the whole episode where they're running like from the birdcage. Like I can just think of so many specific episodes where we can cut an entire episode. So
I mean, you were there in the throes of that, where people like it was probably like every week of people like, what the fuck is the anime doing this?
Like, bro, come on, this shit sucks.
Definitely.
I guess that's just the One Piece curse of catching up to it, and then you have to.
100%. And that's like in contrast with what they've done now with Wano and Egghead, I think, where they've actually, they have people who are willing to add or go with the extra mile of adding and making things in such a way that makes for an additional surprising experience.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, it's not every episode that's like that, and I get people will be disappointed if they expect an Ishitani level episode for a chapter that the creators of the anime are just like, we would rather spend our resources on Garp versus Kuzan and then Kobe rather than Sabo and the Gorosei and all them.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair. I think if you had to choose one, I'm happy with the choice they made.
I get that.
Yeah, but I get it can't be every episode.
Yeah, it's just such a big production. But I guess just like we can talk. I think just because it's on my mind, just the Jello Apocalypse video.
Oh yeah.
So whatever. So this is basically One Piece. Like I remember I used to like his videos like back in the day. I guess
like the Tumblr. So this is Reddit. So this is 4chan.
I like those, and I liked. I remember he did like a Steven Universe. So this is basically back in the day, and I liked it because I'm a big Steven Universe head. But this is like, it was kind of refreshing in a way, but also like terrible because he just has very much the most bad faith interpretation of One Piece I think I've ever seen. And I say it's refreshing just because the One Piece glaze is just like so insane. I think like 90% of the time like people will kill you.
I did see somebody quote tweet it with like a stank face being like, God, I agree with so many of his points, but the way he's saying he's such an asshole.
That's what's frustrating. That is like the main point because I think there is a lot like specifically
valid criticism.
Like the valid criticism there is like one of the biggest points I think a lot of people are getting angry about is that he has like a point in the video where he is talking about like how Oda has too many characters.
I was actually just thinking this.
Yes, he has too many characters, and most of them don't matter. And then he makes an edit where he cuts out so many characters. And in concept, I 100% agree with him. Like there is like I'm reading Egghead, I'm like, bro, not Egghead, Elbaf. I'm like, fuck, there's like 80 new characters I have to know the name of, and then I'm
80? There's like 4. They were introduced earlier.
No, like all the stupid whatever Hyrudin giants that are introduced, and like
the new ones. There's 5 of them.
There's 5 of them, but Shapes. There was a new little
That's
giant
5 too many for you, Jack.
Shapes,
and
there's
it's
gonna be
technically
fucking
not
10
5.
more.
It's 4.
Shapes, for a fucking fact, we're gonna get later into the fucking arc, and Loki's gonna have like a couple friends, and then they're not gonna have time to do fucking anything. they're not gonna give time for any of the Straw Hats who have been set up to like enjoy this arc, because I have to fucking watch all these stupid giants, and then it's,
that will be interesting, because what you're saying is a very common trope for Oda since the very, very early on, right?
Yeah.
You could make the argument that Lion Tamer and Unicycle Guy don't matter, but they're just guys to fight. Beside, like next to, but like it's someone for Zoro to fight. So Luffy fights Buggy. Yeah. Or like I'm thinking like the Skypiea goons, the 4 Heavenly Kings or something. Some really crazy dumb name that like none of these guys matter. Next to NL, right?
I think the bigger problem is the allies. Like because obviously like I appreciate the Vegapunk stuff. Like I think it's really interesting. They have a bunch of different like personalities and such. But like ever since the New World. And like Punk Hazard, when they pick up the Samurai, they pick up Law. They like the crew has like is so big now that we can't like. It's so hard for Oda to like have the individual moments that I feel like made like early One Piece like so fun. And I still think there are moments that like there's really fun parts. I really liked at the beginning when they were separated at Elbaf, and like it was just the main like the
Legoland
first 5 stuff. Like I thought that was really
I like
fun.
that a lot too.
I'm like, oh my god, it's One Piece. Like Nami and Usopp are together, and those are the only characters I have to pay attention to. That's so fun.
Right.
Because I love those characters.
And he was such in his pocket for like their characterizations.
Yeah, it was
like he was pulling stuff that he hasn't pulled in a while with them, and
it was
like,
so good. I'm like, this is One Piece. This is One Piece. And then I feel like that was solved too quickly. And now we're at the main cusp of the arc. I wanted to spend more time with the characters that I love, but now we're propelled forward, I guess, in the new pacing, because Oda has introduced too many characters that we can't like stay around with the characters that I like for too long, because we have to introduce new little boy that I already forgot the name of. Colin. Of course you know his fucking name.
I get okay.
Oh, wasn't it Colin?
Colin, yeah, it's called whatever.
Colin.
Look, Look, I think that boy, the only thing that maybe he'll get more. Who knows? We've had Momo, we've had Tama. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, I really think the only real thing that matters with that kid is that he knows Shanks, and Shanks told him something.
Yeah.
I think that with the fact that he was like, hey, don't forget this name, Straw Hat Luffy, and he goes, and I just picture him, kind of like the Silhouette character as well. He's just kind of, he's in the background, and he's making his way, and eventually makes his way to Luffy, and he's like, oh, hey, Shanks wanted me to tell you this really important thing.
Yeah.
Like it turns out like it's a really like big fucking deal. But the kid has no idea about it, but Luffy knows. I don't know. That's what I'm expecting. That's like all I'm expecting out of this kid. I'm not expecting like a Tama level. I knew Ace and did to do and a whole thing. I totally get the concern. Okay, do you want Elbaf to be Whole Cake Wano length or Zoe or Egghead length? Like,
I don't know what
do you
I
want this to be?
I don't know what I want. To be honest, I think I want it. I don't know what I want it to be, because I feel like modern One Piece, he's gonna try and make it shorter, but this shit's gonna be Wano length. Like I don't think he can make an arc that's short anymore.
Now that Egghead's over, what do you think of how, not just the general of that arc, but like the length of that arc? I actually think that was really. I think that was. You thought that was too long.
I think like I really like Egghead as a whole. I think it's a good arc. I think that it's like a post, I guess, like Whole Cake Island, or I guess the problems of like elongating an arc. I feel like the third act of an arc lasts like way too long. Like I think it drags, like it kind of peters out, and then
once it gets to like the main crux and everyth's happening at once, it goes for like 5 too many chapters.
It has like way, or even more.
Big Mom's chase, or the roof piece, or in this case, like after Kuma punches Saturn, it goes for a little long.
That's the big thing I think that I have a problem with, and I feel like looking at Egghead as a whole, like I don't particularly love the Bonnie. Like I don't I don't.
Yeah, I did write down like I was like a number of points that happened since we last
Oh
talked.
yeah, the
and
Gear
everything.
5
so fucking
shit.
Bonnie Gear 5 for
and the
for
stupid
only
robot.
for only like one chapter. You thought it was stupid? You didn't like the fucking robot dude?
I didn't
really?
like the Deus Ex Machina robot.
What do you mean Deus Ex Machina? He introduced that robot at the very beginning of the arc.
For me, it felt very. I don't know. It
what
felt,
do you mean?
It felt like a Deus Ex Machina.
Dude, I feel like I'm talking to JD Legend, who's just
Who
like
the
so
fuck is
black-pilled.
that,
Who's so fucking black-pilled. He's like, man, I don't like One Piece anymore.
Dude, I like One Piece, but it's like
he would say the same thing. Oh no, I like it. Don't get me wrong.
Dude,
like,
it felt like
know.
a fucking day. Like a giant robot just saves the day, like out of nowhere. Like, I don't know.
Out of nowhere. He was walking around.
It feels. I don't know. It felt contrived. I know they kept alluding to this robot.
Honestly, how do you suppose with the way that he's created the Gorosei to be invulnerable, to where like it seems that they have like a some kind of demonic connection to Emu that can just take away their powers at any time. Emu could just decide to kill Saturn where he stands, even when he's miles and miles away. Like there is some sort of like wireless possession that he has of them that allows them to be fucking immortal and have these crazy powers. When he summons all 5 of them there, what else are they supposed to do? You know, I mean, is Luffy just gonna go like a big conquerors and I mean the fact that I didn't even see that coming, like the fact that he was able to dissipate the other Gorosei with a strong enough conqueror's haki, I thought that was really incredible. It was like really surprising to me, and it's just a case of like, you know, so many people are reading this story and they've been reading it for so long that like you would think that you can guess what happens from reading an author's work for so long. You know, he tells very similar stories. He uses certain characters and certain plot beats in ways that like you can anticipate pretty easily.
Yeah.
So for him to be able to turn left in a way that like we don't, but then also give what we want. Like there's certain things that like we want this to happen. We want Kuma to be able to punch Saturn in the face, and he does get that to happen, but also in a way that you don't fully get the whole picture of. It's like, oh, that's even better than what I was thinking, because the idea of like, I was reading a while ago like a bunch of old shonen manga. I think I said this on the podcast before. I'm sorry, but the idea of like one of the first major weekly Shonen Jump authors from like the 60s, he talked about how like the moment your readers know what you're going to do, it becomes boring to them and they're going to stop reading. Yeah. So you have to find a way to turn left when they think you're going to keep going straight or turn right or whatever.
Yeah, I get that.
But still make it work, you know?
I just think it didn't work. I think it was... I guess it was surprising in a way, but I think it was surprising in like the opposite way of like what I guess wanted to happen. Like I felt like it was a
it's okay if you have some agenda, Jack. You know, if you wanted Zoro to kill Kaido, I understand.
I did. Yeah, I definitely wanted Zoro to kill Kaido. That's so stupid. That's such a stupid thing to think.
But I feel like it's very similar. Like the anticipatory or being disappointed in the way things turn out. The kind of deadened enthusiasm that you have is very similar to what a lot of readers have. And I'm not like discouraging you from having it, because I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to, not just within One Piece, especially One Piece, because it's been going on for so long, and countless people probably have felt about this in and out of ways. Like I can't imagine reading fucking Dressrosa or Whole Cake Weekly and be like, oh my god, when are we gonna get somewhere? But like this counts for any, you know, enthusiasm or hobby or thing that we like.
I think why it makes me feel so, I guess, annoyed, and I guess just like not even annoyed, just kind of like, oh, okay, that happened, that's fine. It's just like the characters didn't work for this. And obviously, you know, you're not going to have to work for everything. Sometimes you get lucky and a giant fucking 1 billion-year-old robot comes out of nowhere and uses ancient haki. And I was just like, the post-mortem haki just felt, I don't know. I thought it was stupid. I did not very much go for it. And I guess like that disconnect of like, I feel like most fans, because I get what you're saying, like a lot of people feel like jaded towards it. But I think the vast majority of One Piece fans are like super positive about like everything that happens for the most part.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Yeah.
it's I feel like my interpretation of it, and then like contrasted by like how most people feel, it just makes me feel like even like more jaded towards it, because my opinion is so different from the majority, and I feel
you get disconnected.
Yeah, I feel disconnected. I think just like, you know, I guess the conceit.
And it comes at the worst fucking possible time, because we're finally at the place you've wanted to be at for so long, you know.
Yeah, I think that's like a big part of it.
Like it kind of like adds on top of it. Like it's even worse, because it's like I should be enjoying this more.
Yeah, because there's like parts of Egg, like I think the first couple chapters of Elbaf I thought were really cool, but now I'm kind of like, I don't know. I think it's.
Were you worried once you saw? So like your thought when you saw Loki was, oh no, he has a bunch of goons with him.
No, I thought Loki's
like that's
introduction was cool.
I literally had never heard of anyone worried about that. Like that's so interesting.
I thought he like was a fun character, and I thought his introduction was cool, but also that thought did cross my mind, because I'm just like,
that's crazy.
I just keep getting burned, I think, by like I guess it is like an expectations thing that I want One Piece to be like.
I guess the reason I didn't think that way was in the context of the arc, that like it seems like all the giants are against Loki.
Yeah,
you know, he's not really introduced anyone besides, I guess, Roto, that feel like, you know, giants are superior.
Yeah.
Type thing that Loki has, and that I think Roto has. But it's less giant superior and more puny humans, which is literally just Fishman.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe that's the connection. Maybe
I think I would feel a lot better if Bonnie and the Vegapunks weren't with the Straw Hats.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, if with Lilith specifically.
Lilith.
And then I guess you were. I guess you weren't happy about the satellites living then.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really feel any two ways about it, to be honest.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The satellites, you mean like the other big
the ones that they float off with Punk Records, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't feel two ways about it. I know they'll come back at some point in the story.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Lilith is interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually happy if any of all the characters, I'd be chill. I think he made the best choice.
And like Kuma's there too, and I'm just kind of like, Kuma die already. Like actually.
Well, no, so I was just talking about this in a AJ server actually, because someone was like, I would have rathered him die.
Dude,
I think he is dead already.
What the fuck does that mean, Shapes? You can't say.
Okay,
I think
so no,
a character is dead. Like
no, right? No, okay. So listen.
Okay, I'll break it down.
I think we are not taking, because Oda has set this up in the way that we don't really trust death in the same way. Like I can't like.
Yeah.
I remember hearing the panic, the sheer pants shitting panic of the moment when Kandro impersonates Odin, and it's at the end of a chapter. Everyone was like shitting their pants that Odin actually came back. So like he has kind of created a sort of trauma for the community when it comes to this scenario.
Yes.
And in a similar scenario, it's actually kind of similar with the way Roger Space reacted to the 10-minute time wait for Vegapunk's message, the way he reacted so strongly negative to that, because it probably reminded him of the birdcage.
Oh, dude, that's yeah. I don't think it was as
like
bad
that.
as the birdcage,
or Punk Hazard's the gases entering the room or whatever.
Yeah.
Like whenever Oda puts a time limit on it's like, okay, yeah, 5 minutes on Namek, got it.
5 minutes on Namek. Oh my
right.
god.
It's like the
okay.
Frieza
versus Goku that last.
Yeah. But like this shit's no different in manga in my opinion. Anyway, but like okay, so. When all the way back in Marineford, when Dofi told Eva, Kuma is dead, I think he was serious. And the Kuma flashback, when Vegapunk is doing that last shut-off and everything, he's like, that would be akin to killing him. He is killing him in that instance. And the force that is allowing him to still move, despite being just a robot, and what kind of soul is still in there. And Vegapunk is like, I guess they're both Saturn and Vegapunk don't understand this, and they're both like the smartest scientists in the world. And they're like, I don't know why he's doing this. I guess it could be the power of love. And it also links into the themes of Egghead of what constitutes death, because, he looks up at Mars looks up at the big brain after, I think this is already after Vegapunk died, and he's like, what's death to something like this? And even just the satellites and everything is still being around and still carrying on. He's like, well, you may, but the Stella is dead, but I'm technically, Yeah, and Oda's playing with that theme very heavily, and I think he's been playing it with it the whole time, too much to the chagrin of readers, I think.
Yeah.
But like, you think about, just because Kuma is technically with them, we have not physically seen him on page since 1126. When he's on the ship and Bonnie's like, look, we can see the horizon. That's the last panel of Kuma we've seen, and Oda straight up has not shown him. He's shown Bonnie, he's shown all the Straw Hats, he's shown the Giants, he's shown Lilith, but there's no Kuma. Like, they're not even a cutaway of like what's going on with him at all. And we have not seen him move at all since he hugged Bonnie after punching Saturn in 1104. After that, Atlas grabs him and like brings his body with them, but he is not. It's been limp. It's literally just like a husk.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure whatever spirit that he had, whatever caused him to do that, maybe it was his Buccaneer blood or something, allowed him to be able to protect Bonnie and reunite with Bonnie. And just have all that, and then that's all his spirit was able to take, basically.
I get what you're saying, but it's I feel like that's so that's so against. I feel like with One Piece, like when they do deaths, like it's such a big moment, like Ace.
It was a big moment in the Kuma flashback.
Yeah, but like
I
the
think
reason
Kuma was
that
character for the sad backstory.
It would be clear,
of,
like
Rosinante and Hiruluk and everybody.
I think it would be clear to me, and whoever you were discussing with beforehand, that Kuma will be dead. It is One Piece is not a hard story to understand. It is meant for children to read. I think the reason that I, a 23-year-old man, am confused if a character is dead or not speaks volumes that Oda does not want to kill him yet. And I think that's,
that's what he's and that's what I mean. He's asking what constitutes death. You don't think he's dead because he's moving and making decisions.
Yeah.
And I think
You're saying,
it would be way more. It would be way more weird and out of place if he had him not like at the beginning. So I think the reason it didn't register as a death, despite it is a death. It was meant to be like a full death, the same way Hiruluk or Nami's mom, like Bellemare and everybody. It's supposed to be on that same level, Odin, because we saw him moving earlier in the arc before the flashback started. And he had to set that up, because otherwise, if you just have it, the whole flashback, you haven't seen Kuma at all. He's still on the revolutionary Kamabaka Queen Island. He's still sitting there, hasn't moved. If the flashback goes through the whole thing and then ends, and then he starts getting up and zooming over and goes right to the fucking Egghead and punches the guy, I think that would be way more of a question mark and an ass pull than otherwise. Like, he wants to have multiple things happen, and he's making the best. I think he's making pretty much the best choices, given what he's trying to accomplish, I think. But it's interesting because he really has been toying with this idea of a person's death and their legacy since chapter 1 with Roger.
Yeah.
I think it's a really significant deal.
Like what do you mean? Like, what do you think he's trying to say with like what constitutes death? Like,
yeah,
I feel like because I know like the whole thing is that like Luffy's not killing these people. Like, if a pirate loses a fight, that's like a death in a way, a death of his.
Yeah,
like,
I said this on one of my reactions. I forget which it was. It's incomplete, and I don't think I'd be able to fully articulate it. But it feels to me, death is being equated to losing in some way. And when a character survives, that character has not lost or has won effectively. So like some of the fake out deaths that bother me, the dad on Skypiea that gets struck by the big lightning god death bolt, and then later after Enel's defeated turns out to be okay. I think he's trying to say that character has a victory over Enel, that Enel wasn't able to overcome him in that from doing that. But it's complicated because you think of the characters he has definitely killed, and specifically in the ways that he's killed them. So it's like it's incomplete for me because I'm still kind of wrestling with it, because what does that say about Ashura? What does that say about Izo being killed the way that they were, especially the way that they were, which was pretty much off screen.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like extremely sudden.
Yeah. Like I forgot they died.
The handling of that was very different and interesting. And that there's other characters that like it's kind of unknown whether they're alive or dead. And it doesn't really matter, like Arlong.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever really confirmed what happened to him after Luffy puts him through the fucking building.
And
I don't think he ever emerges from there unless there's a cover story.
I think there is a cover story of him going to prison, but I could be tripping. But
maybe.
I think that's what makes those, I guess, like battles and those like victories feel better, is that like we don't see these characters afterwards, so we can assume something.
Yeah.
Like Oda bringing back these characters, I think specifically, like when it's such like an emotional moment, and it like it moves a character forward in their lives, and like how they have to deal with the grief, which is like a real emotion we deal with in life, and Oda can define death forever, whatever the fuck he wants, but like we know what death is in the real world, and I think that's like a huge, I guess, juxtaposition why people get frustrated.
I mean, there was even just like the Hero Luke speech. I was actually just reminded of it. Of like he asks like, does a man die when he gets shot with a bullet? Does he die when he does this? He dies when people forget about him. Yeah. And so in a way, Odin is not dead, and Roger's not dead, and Whitebeard's not dead. Yeah. And Ace is not dead. And so it's sort of like death is a part of the cycle and a part of the human experience, and it's a hard, painful aspect of it. But I don't think it's the end all. Like it's not the nihilist. It's kind of like with Monster. Towards the end of Monster, it's like all men are equal. There's only one thing that I'm totally butchering the quote, but it's like there's one thing that everyone's equal to, and that's death. It doesn't matter, we're all gonna die, type of thing.
Yeah. And I think that's why it feels like such a cop-out. Because I know Oda can kill characters, and he does do it. But then he does it also so often where a character is presumably to die, and then they don't die. And it's I feel like that's why I'm so...
Well, that's what I mean. I think he's sort of like... Death matters only in certain contexts, to the point where you can't see this character anymore. But like... He's not going to see Bon Clay again. Or maybe he will, I don't know. Maybe there's another Impel Down escape.
I feel like Bon Clay is the one character where I'll be like, please, like, you can bring him back. Like, I'm chill with that.
He is alive. He's in a cover story.
Yeah, like, that's fine.
So, but, like, that was a case of, like, he's probably dead. Like in the way that he, let everyone else go and get it in his place with Magellan. And it's like, that dude's probably dead.
It's just, if it feels like in the way of, like, you want to have the emotional moment of, like, killing off a character, but then it's like having your cake and eating it too. Like you kill off a character, and then we don't. Because
I think that sort of thing does happen in life, where a sad thing creates its own emotion and trauma and a journey and a trajectory for a character, and then new information about that event. It doesn't even have to be a death. It can just be an event. New information about it or something about it moves you in a different direction. I think life can be complex like that. So I think that I know this. I don't really watch that many YouTubers or whatever, but like I'm on a server with people who do watch a lot of content, and they talk about this guy Morge.
Oh, I've watched some of him.
Yeah, and he's very critical, and he's still not a fan of Saul being brought back.
I'm not a fan.
I know you're not.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, this latest chapter didn't make you feel anything.
No, I was.
That's real. That is too bad.
I was evil One Piece reader.
Yeah, that is too bad.
Dude,
that was the bad end.
I know, because I'm like, I know Shay was probably fucking cried, little pussy bitch.
That's too bad.
I'm just like, Oda, I know what you're trying to do to me, bro, but fucking shut the fuck up.
No,
bro.
I know what you mean by having a cake and eating it too. But what's wrong with that? Sometimes you do have your cake and then you eat it.
Shut up. Shut up. I don't know. It just makes me.
It's just what you do with it, you know.
It really makes me question
everything. Yeah, I know. I did see some people being like, it makes you think. He could do this with Hero Luke. He could do this with Belmare.
Dude, where's Ace, bro?
Like, he could do this with I keep forgetting his name for some reason. Rosinante,
yeah. Dude,
yeah.
If Ace shows up in the next chapter, I'm not fucking surprised. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Like,
Sabo, it's like, it's like Ace, and then Luffy does the same face he did with Sabo or whatever.
Yeah. Oh my god.
No, hell no. That would not make any sense.
Yeah, because in a way, like I don't think I feel as like hatred towards Sabo. I think Sabo's an interesting character, and I think he does things that are.
I think it's funny
Ace,
when I think it's funny when Nate roasts him. Like it is really funny. Like he just has a pipe. Like
yeah, bro has a pipe. Whatever.
And a top hat. Funny guy.
He's a funny guy.
I get it.
But it is, that is, I feel, just another way Oda does it. Of he killed off the cool brother with fire powers, so we got a new one.
Yeah.
New boy just.
But in this instance, in a similar instance, I guess, everyone reacts a very similar way to the episode of Bartolomeo and Shanks.
That was fire. I'm
happy you like that.
That was fire. Cool. I was just like, Bartolomeo is like one of my favorite One Piece characters.
I know,
so seeing him again, I was like, okay, this was.
Yeah.
Cool. He was just.
Me too.
Shanks just trolling him a little bit. I'm just like.
Yeah.
I think Bartolomeo is just really funny, so I just like seeing him.
Definitely. Again. But I mean, like, everyone kind of reacts the same way. Of like, his ship blows up, and they're like, unknown of what happened to him. Everyone's like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
Whatever. Law and Kid were destroyed.
Yeah, all right, whatever.
I'm like, yeah, you're gonna kill Law, Oda. Yeah, you're gonna fucking kill Law.
Well, Law definitely isn't, because Law, you see Law get away.
Yeah.
So I do think there has to be some significance to that contrast.
Yeah.
Of showing both of them get low diffed by the other Yonko. Yeah. And Law manages to get away, but Kid doesn't. And I think the difference isn't just that, like, Law is the character that, Luffy had the alliance with and all this other shit and the whole thing with Dressrosa, but he was also a warlord.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had the idea, and I feel like I've said it, I want Cross Guild to be made up of nothing but former warlords.
Oh, so you think Law will join the party?
I think Law can be there with, and I hope Boa is there.
No way.
And I think you can get 7. I think it's a former, like, current or former warlords. The whole system's abolished. So
that sounds wrong to me.
There's 7 of them. It would be 7 of them. It'd be Buggy, Crocodile, Mihawk, Boa, Law, and then you have 2 more spots. So
Wait,
you can.
Moria,
so it wouldn't be.
Moria?
Yeah. Well, you could have Moria. Yeah. Oh, yes, you would have Moria because fucking Perone's there too with Mihawk, right? She knows Mihawk. Moria escaped. He makes it very clear. Like, he keeps bringing Moria up, so he does matter.
And Moria will join. I feel weird about Boa and Law though. I just feel like their association with Luffy would kind of make it weird.
Well, it's similar. I mean, Crocodile and Buggy teamed up with Luffy too.
Yeah, but that was such a different. They were kind of forced to do that in that situation,
I guess.
Bro, they're in a prison. They're all trying to break it. I guess. What do you? It's such a different context. The Boa Hancock who's in love with Luffy, and Law, who spent like many like arcs with Luffy. And had like a dynamic with him.
Well, but that's all the more reason for me to have what I want at the end when the 4 Yonko get to the same island and they have to team up. So it's Shanks and Blackbeard with Buggy and Luffy.
That's fucked up.
It would be so fucked and amazing. But then you would because I do think Red Hair's crew has to be antagonistic to Luffy at some point.
Yeah.
And you also have to have Blackbeard, who I do want to be the final antagonist at some point.
That would be cool. I like Blackbeard. We need to see more of him, bro. Like
I think we're getting a good deal. I mean, not like amazing, like a whole volume of him or anything, but like what we have gotten of him has been great.
It's always good.
They're making moves, man. They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you I guess think Loki will be the antagonist of the arc?
I don't know. I think what's really interesting about Elbaf so far is that so I think the thing he's going to do with Usopp is he's going to have. I think what makes Usopp the best for me it was when he was in Water 7, and what made him so good in Water 7 was his disagreement with Luffy, his breakup with Luffy. So I think in order to get the same levels of development and content from him, he needs to kind of have a sharp disagreement with Luffy in some way. I think there has to be some conflict.
I'd start saying it's peak again, honestly.
Yeah. I think there's an in here for that, because if you've noticed with Elbaf so far, Usopp is acting very different. He, I think, more than I don't think any other arc in post time skip at least, he has really been vocal and taking charge in some way and being like, okay, these clothes must be where we got the thing, and like we're here, and he's kind of defending. He's like, oh, you could have taken that cat on. It's like, no, I totally, and he's done this before, like even in Fishman Island log, actually, Fishman Island. It's interesting how often he kind of brings himself forward and is confident and is more engaged with what's going on. Yeah. In that initial descent to Fishman Island, he's really like he's kind of with Chopper being this straight man, like, oh my God, we're gonna die, and like watch out for this, and let me do this, and he really feels like active, but before taking a backseat pretty much the entire rest of the time, with the exception of Dressrosa, really good moments. But yeah, like I think he's felt very on the whole time since arriving in
100%. Like Oda is very much.
This means. Yeah, this means so much to him. And he's also just very heightened for danger because he knows how dangerous this place is, and you can see it affecting him too. If there's like him trying to cross the bridge, and he's like, "This is fine, we're a warrior," Yeah. He's trying, and it means so much to him, and it means a lot to Luffy too. But like, he's not taking it nearly as seriously as Usopp because he's the king, he doesn't, that's not who he is, right? He kind of just goes in. And so Loki, he definitely talked to Loki about something, Oda's going to show it, like he's going to show that later. I don't know what he's thinking. I think Luffy can kind of sense when people are good or maybe not all the time. It's usually when it's like a very overt, hey, you punched this guy, I'll kick your ass or whatever. Like it's very straightforward in terms of his moral judgment, I guess. But I guess that's just, I think the fact, I know there's some people that are sort of questioning whether Loki is actually going to be the bad guy. I think he is obviously a trickster, and I think Oda's playing that fable of, I don't know the specific name of it or the details, but oddly enough, I happened to watch an episode of this other show I'm watching that homaged this. But it's like it's a kind of a fairy tale where like a demon goblin thing is it was imprisoned in a tree, so like Loki's chained to a tree, and he's like, if you let me out of this tree, which only you can do, but I can't let myself out, I'll give you whatever you want. I can grant whatever wish you want me to do, if you just get me out of the tree. And obviously the trick is, if you let the trickster who was imprisoned for a reason out of the tree, he's not going to fulfill your promise, you dumb fuck. Yeah. Right? And that's the lesson. That's like the moral lesson type of thing.
So it's either Usopp probably letting
Luffy
free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's Luffy not really thinking straight or as carefully as Usopp and letting that happen. I mean, he's still chained up or whatever. And Usopp getting the most upset about that because Loki is a danger to Elbaf, and they've expressed it as much, and this place means so much to him. So I think that's going to be at odds, and I think that's the potential key for really good Usopp content. Not necessarily him becoming a brave warrior or whatever, because I think he already is. He does that just by doing his best and being engaged and everything. But in terms of getting good Usopp content, I think that's the avenue potentially.
Yeah, I think that sounds interesting. I would like to see how Oda, I guess, executes that. And I do like I like how Luffy and Usopp are so excited to be on Elbaf. Yeah. Like I think
he knows how much it means to the readers and to them.
Yeah, so it's like I really like that aspect. I just think I'm like reading the latest chapter just like kind of jaded because I know the Saul thing's gonna happen. That I'm like, ugh.
Well, it did happen. It already. Yeah. That's the latest chapter. He already. I actually really like that he took care of that so quickly.
Yeah,
I actually now that they're out of the toilet, which I did enjoy. I really liked him indulging in that.
They're really out of the toilet.
The fucking Legoland, whatever, right? Like I liked it. I really did. But I have really been impressed with how much he's really I honestly, I really think this feels. I said this about Egghead, so I'm trying to. I said this literally about Egghead, right?
Yeah.
And it turned out to not be the case, but I do get Zoe vibes from this.
You think?
Where like I think it's going to be kind of there's a big thing there's sort of like a tragic thing with Loki, and maybe we get like a flashback of what happened, kind of like how we got the retroactive what happened with Zoe, but then the real reason we're here is for a particular item, like in this case the road poneglyph. I do think the last one is on Elbaf or something along the lines of it.
I think I get what you're saying, but I think you're smoking reefer, man. Like I
get it. I know.
It's
cope.
At least from what you were even saying about Usopp and Luffy, like that's like a whole thing. Like I don't think
it could.
Like
yeah.
that's a whole like if that happens, like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they have already set up so much more than I think Zoe did. Like there's that whole like little tale that you're like, oh, you don't want to stay on Elbaf for long.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's that whole eerie tale
going
on.
Do you think some people are theorizing that's like a time dilution thing?
That's interesting. That would be cool.
Yeah, where it's like they spend even one day on Elbaf, and it's going to be like weeks go by in the real world, and then Oda can cut away and show everything in like a volume's worth, kind of like what he did on Egghead, show everything that happens.
That's
and like
interesting.
it all goes by like immediately, so that by the time they get off, they're kind of almost the last, like they're so ahead technically, but they're like the last ones to potentially arrive at Lodestar, which creates this nice narrative thing.
But
cool. I mean, it would be nice. It would be a nice idea. I don't know how much it makes sense, because how did Shanks kind of visit Wano and then go back to Elbaf, chill there for a little bit?
Well, he had to like go advertise One Piece Film Red. That's why he went to
I know why he did it.
He had to do a press tour.
I'm just talking. No, I know. I'm just trying to. I'm just thinking logistically of like, okay, then he goes there, right?
Yeah.
I do think Shanks matters to some degree. Just the fact that Loki mentioned him, or like that Shanks was mentioned, and then by Loki, and then Luffy reacting the way he did, and again like that boy. I think is going to be kind of the way that they're not going to meet until the end, but it's going to be like, we're going to meet there. Yeah. Meet me over there. Like, here's the last, because I honestly think if the last one was in fact on Elbaf, that means Shanks has all four already, and he's just waiting for Luffy at the end.
What a troll, dude.
You know? But in terms of how, like, what about the burnscar man and the last thing or whatever? I mean, first of all, we haven't even mentioned. I've sort of mentioned it. The silhouette character. You know about this?
I don't. You have this written down. I don't. I didn't.
Oh, really?
This.
Oh,
so
okay. So
like...
I'll have to get some screen caps up, I guess.
Okay.
So I mean, a couple chapters ago, when they were like, "We're going to Elbaf, yay!" It cuts away, and the end of the chapter is like a panel in the corner, and you see a figure with his like a hand with an elbow on his knee or whatever, and he's like, "Come on," and he said it's like someone's waiting for them on Elbaf. He's like someone's waiting, and even since then, people were theorizing it was a character with a rice hat that was sitting with Crocus.
Oh, the Crocus guy.
And Laboon, right? Like that guy that looks like Shiki. Because he's got the big yellow hair, the kind of the samurai era garb. It's not confirmed to be Shiki, but people were looking more into it, obviously, and people were asking about Shiki ever since, I think, 1096, when he was shown with Roxas' crew. And I think someone asked him about it. He's like, he's in the story, right? And he's like, yeah, he is. And I think Oda specifically mentioned that he doesn't really have the float fruit that he had in Strong World.
Yeah.
That allows him to fly and make other things float. I think he articulated that he does not have that fruit necessarily. Like, Strong World itself is not canon, but the character is.
Yeah.
Then in the last chapter, so 1132, right after, like during that Arnaud speech of like, don't spend too much time here, I didn't catch this on my first reading, but obviously community, whatever. The panel with the bear.
Okay.
You know, like the last page has like a panel and has a bear standing up.
Yes, yeah. Like the
in the on the like low to that panel, you almost miss it. is a character with a rice hat.
Oh, he's smoking that good shit too. I see a picture.
Oh yeah. Okay, good shit. Yeah, so that could be Shiki.
It's Luffy's mom, bro. Like that's.
Yeah, right. There's also like,
yeah.
burnscar man, and so what's the significance of burnscar and the whirlpools with the black ship? Roger's Base actually pointed this out in his stream, that his theory is that burnscar man is Saul.
Oh, okay.
And the black ships and whirlpool was Dragon, because they had both visited O'Hara at the time.
I see. They're smoking that.
So I think, I don't know, yeah, but that's his connective tissue. I think that does make the most sense. I also think it's possible that Shiki, or else whoever this is, it might not be Shiki, but it probably is, that character could also have burns, and maybe he's Burnscar. But yeah, Burnscar, or Man Marked by Flames, is, according to Blackbeard, the character who has the last poneglyph, the last road poneglyph.
Yeah, I guess it would.
The one that they're missing.
If you're saying, like, if Saul has the last fucking poneglyph, then yeah, this is Zoe.
Yeah.
Like, this is a Zoe art.
Then it's like we can't stay here very long because we have it. We have to fucking go.
But also, it's Elbaf. Like,
yeah,
this is the giant arc that we've wanted to see for so long, and then making that short, I think, would just be kind of shit. I mean, maybe even that as a whole could maybe start the Usopp Luffy sort of.
Oh, he wants to stick around.
He wants to stay.
Yeah.
But like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they need to go. Like
him, and that actually links into the way in Luffy's attitude as well, because of how he was trying to rush to bring Saul to the banquet this chapter.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, let's go get him. And obviously that can just be chalked up to his usual impulsiveness, but it could also be like what did Loki tell him about, what did he say? Even just the fact that, it was so funny last chapter too, of how it was like, hey, where were you? And he's like,
Yeah, it was weird. It was.
Yeah.
It was kind of out of character. It was weird.
He really didn't want to say it.
That was I feel like in all of One Piece, like one of the few moments
he doesn't lie.
Like,
no, he says he doesn't lie.
I'm like, that's Luffy lied.
What? But that's the thing. He can't lie in saying he's bad at it. It's like saying he can't use a sword. He has used a sword. He just punches people with it.
Yeah.
Like, he's just bad at it. So I think he's bad at lying, and I think if they do ask what happened, he's going to spill.
I think in terms of it probably was something about Shanks. Like,
I think, but that, because he's like, that's not because he's exactly, the last information we actually heard from Loki is, Shanks, and he's like, well, where is it? And it's like, that's not something I could just tell you, and that's like, and so Loki's like, that's my in. It totally has to do with Shanks.
Yeah.
And that would be completely fair motivation for him.
Yeah, because if it's like, if you tell people, Shanks will be in harm's way. Like
but then Loki's not going to tell him that the thing that people are theorizing, it's not been confirmed really. He said that he's been in prison there for 6 years or something like that, a particular amount of time. And Shanks became a Yonko that amount of time ago. People are theorizing the way that Shanks grew to become a Yonko, to Yonko status, was by helping the Giants save them from Loki.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Is what people are thinking.
Interesting.
And so Loki just wouldn't tell Luffy that. They're like, your hero is the one that is the reason I'm here. He's not going to tell him that part, but he's like, I'll tell you where he is or where he went. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is sort of like, we don't know the extent of how dangerous Loki really is, or what he can do. The fact that he has this particular fruit, and people are still I don't think people have definite ideas about this yet, because it could be a lot of things. I think people are kind of thinking about how Hyrodine was like one of the people fighting for the Mena fruit, for Ace's fruit, and how that can kind of relate to the sun or something, because maybe he was trying to get that to. Well, that doesn't make sense because Loki was chained up by then. So I mean, I wonder if they'll go into the particular motivations for Hyrodine to try to grab that fruit.
Yeah.
But in terms of what fruit he has and what it can do, I don't think there's anybody that has a particular idea. But it's very interesting to think about. And I would say that like the only reason, because that would beg the question, if it's so dangerous and strong, how the hell did Shanks stop it? How was he able to be beaten the first time? And I'm just talking out loud really. It could just be like strong enough hockey beats a devil fruit type of thing.
I would
could
assume
kind of lead
so.
into that.
Yeah.
I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Loki. I think it was a really good character introduction. I think.
Oh yeah, especially after people were writing him like crazy, and I wasn't that enthused for him because all I had known was he had the hots for Lola or whatever, and it feels so on the nose to name him after a Norse god, and I was a little kind of rolling my eyes at it, especially just so that the fans being all amped for it, but Oda did a phenomenal job of just one chapter and done. Yep, this guy's so cool. He's fucking Kaido and Doffy mixed in one.
Right. Yeah, because I think I initially had a similar thing. I'm like, yeah, it's Loki. He's a Norse god, blah blah blah. But then it was pretty fast. The interaction. I feel like it really left an impression, and I think that is what is super important about it. And where I think a lot of One Piece characters fail. I think the one-off characters that I think that are funny, but then ultimately you end up forgetting their names. I think
Luffy,
Luffy or whatever his name is. It's
Luli or
Luli. Because Luffy ends. That's funny too. Yeah, I just forget that Luffy just forgets
everybody's name,
and it's
it's Pigeon Guy.
I think that just gives way for I guess Oda to keep writing new fucking characters. Just because he likes designing them.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's there's certain. I was also that just happened to remind me of we don't know what he wants to do with them at the end of the story, right?
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of stuff in mind, and he said when he announced Final Saga that this was the stuff he's wanted to write for a long time.
Yeah.
That he's really wanted to get to. And we're not even at that point yet, I don't think. I think there's certainly some things where he's I've wanted to finally give Kobe a really strong moment, a really powerful, he's a force to be reckoned with kind of moment.
Yeah.
I've wanted to show what the Gorosei look like this whole time. I've really wanted to get it. And then, getting into it with Shanks and Blackbeard. I just that is going to be the best shit ever. I don't know what I'll do with myself when he starts to get into that shit, man. Fucking God Valley incident. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting.
He still
in
has,
that way.
Yeah, he still has stuff that I hope that your enthusiasm being deadened doesn't ruin that moment too much.
No, I think it's I do think this podcast definitely helps me to be more motivated, just because talking to you, you have such clear optimism that it's I definitely come away from the podcast definitely feeling more I get jaded towards One Piece for a couple of months, and then we do Piss Pirates. I'm maybe it's okay.
Right.
it's you calm me down.
Oh yeah, that's what. Oh yeah, that's you talk him off the ledge.
It's my One Piece therapy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I guess. I think theorizing about where Elbaf can go, I think makes me more positive about that. And I guess to your thing of them settling the Saul thing in a chapter, makes it, I guess, easier to take the
because I think ever since he was revealed to be that, it was just a matter of course. You know, it was sort of just it was just that moment's gonna happen. We know already.
Yeah.
I'm more interested. I'm happy he did it in one chapter, because now we can get that out of the way, and it's okay, show us the library, tell us the rest of the message.
Yeah.
That Vegapunk said. What did we miss? Especially because none of the Straw Hats, well, I shouldn't say none of them, the fact that they were on Egghead and didn't hear the message.
Yeah.
None of them know it, and the only ones that know the only ones that know anything are the other half of the crew. Which, oh my God, dude, the fucking moment when they're looking that half of the crew, the latter half, is looking at the newspaper and it has the X on it. He has the X on Luffy's arm.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, that's weird. Does he usually have this? It was I don't know, just looked familiar. The fact that none of them.
Yeah, they didn't know.
And the thing is, me as a reader immediately recognize it and don't see the significance of what that could mean. Of it's Vivi telling them she's okay, and it's exactly how Luffy communicated with 3D2Y.
Yeah.
Yeah. God. and I'm really excited for when that subject is broached, and then even just the significance of being on Elbaf, where all the giants. I mean, the fact that like Dory and Bragi recognize Luffy in his white form, they know that he's the sun god.
Yeah,
they're, I think, the characters who are the most clear-eyed to be able to tell, because hearing it from, well, just to start with, like just the any of the forgotten races like the Buccaneers or someone, or the samurai who might know something about Joy Boy or Nika. They're all kind of in their own hell, or in their own like loose. They're not really thinking about it as much. And then Vegapunk, who's studied it, he's only really studied it. He's not going to be able. He knows the significance of Nika and Joy Boy, but to be able to communicate that to Luffy, I don't think he would have been the right fit to do that. Being able to do that with the giants, I think is the best. It's the closest approximation they can get to be like, okay, like. But the thing is, right? I don't really know or expect them to be able to sit Luffy down and be like, hey, so you're the reincarnation of the guy who did this thing and whatever.
Yeah.
Because I mean, but even if they do, he's not gonna give a shit.
Yeah, Luffy won't give a flying fuck about that. So it's not even worth
all
it.
Right. I mean,
at this
that's
point,
cool.
it's not even.
Well, it's sort of a similar vibe when he was fighting Lucci, and the rest of the Straw Hats are with Vegapunk, and he's like, "Yeah, there is no gum fruit, by the way. That's not real." And they're like, what do you mean?" They'll have a moment like that, you know?
It's similar to where the crew will learn about it, or like someone else will start learning about it. I guess. Do you wanna watch that Jello Apocalypse video? Like, I'd like to see your reaction to it specifically, because I was pissed off, and I'm a jaded motherfucker.
Oh well, so the
you're probably
issue,
gonna blow a gasket or something.
The only trepidation I have with it is that I happen to have a little further beef or grudge with this particular creator.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too into it. He was in the industry in a professional capacity and worked on one of our releases and made a royal mess of things. Acted extremely unprofessionally, damaged our reputation.
Oh, that's not cool.
Nope. Really bad. Really resent the guy. And I've not really liked him ever since he went after Kevin Ya's FMA video. I talked about it on Digest very early on.
Why Kevin Ya? He's such a nice guy.
I had the Digest goes into it. It was like a not good, but it was for a tweet. It was for a Jello Apocalypse tweet.
That's so based.
Yeah. Oh God. No, but I can't stand the guy. So I mean, I didn't even think twice about him making this video. I saw it. I'm still subbed because I just like keeping tabs of people. So I saw it go by, and I'm just like I'm not interested. It's a Jello video. I don't care. But I was shocked at like how much negative reaction it was getting. Actually, like people were sharing it, and it's like, oh, he really made some people mad with this one.
Yeah, I was surprised, man. I saw some shit on Twitter. I'm like, okay, let me watch this shit. Let me dig in. Let's. This is like the first time in our Piss Pirates reactions where I have seen the thing, and then your shit. I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
because it's always you showing me the episode or whatever.
Dude, oh my God. I literally, like, in my recommended right now is like a podcast or a stream. Art and Jazzy and Lady Emily versus Jello Apocalypse. So about the One Piece video.
Oh, shit.
Oh God, 8 minutes. This is gonna be the eight longest minutes of my life.
8 minutes is so short. He made it so he can get mid-rolls, though. You gotta respect the hustle.
Oh, Christ.
Oh my God, Shaved uses light mode. But whatever, let's just move on.
It's true. Good Lord.
OPs is the story of Loosey Goosey.
Weasels on the moon! Cast away your shackles, my brothers, and rise!
That's a very niche point to make. It's like, what's the most confusing tidbit I can? Oh, I know, a cover story of NL and Weasels on the Moon. Like, he makes it sound like it's a really big plot point. Like Oda's not even brought that up at all.
I just feel like at this point, I like there's Eggos with text on them. I just feel like calling
poneglyphs
Eggos is kind of funny.
No, I don't think the humor is too bad so far.
It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, it's Shiki.
The Great Age of Pirates. A pirate is defined as anyone who sails a boat. And Loosey Goosey's gonna be king of them all.
Is he going to
That
mention how he's
needs to
the
conquer the
descendant of
grand-
the first one?
I don't think he goes into Joy Boy at all.
Oh wow.
line.
But-
An inaccessible ocean that you could easily leave and come back to.
Oh yeah, he forgot about the comm belt.
It's not a
That's
big
really
deal.
funny.
You can just come right back in there. People on the
No, he references the calm belt. He
does
references
reference
it
it? Okay.
later, I think. I think he's aware because
Alright.
it's very clear that he's definitely caught up to One Piece because like he references like
No, yeah, the fact that he's referencing very, very specific things shows that he should know what he's talking about. So then when he makes a claim like that, you're like, wait a minute.
yeah, it's like
You know, your alarm bell
What are you
starts going
talking
off,
about?
and that's why you
Yeah.
start to distrust
Yeah.
him. And so there's this weird disconnect where, and this is something I'm dealing with my Magical Girl video actually, because I'm like, here's my power level, here's what I've watched, but I'm making kind of the it's a whole thing. Never mind.
I get what you mean.
I hope nobody notices we have the exact same powers.
This part pauses. I don't remember most of their devil fruit. I remember I
They're
watched
not the same power.
But what okay, so what are these powers? I know Pika's fruit.
So Pika is stone.
I know he's got
So
stone.
he's able to kind of assimilate into stone. He is stone. I think the reason that Jello is connecting him to Pizarro, the island fruit,
Yeah.
is that he's assimilating and becomes really like a big massive rock or
Yeah.
something. Like I get that, and it makes you think that like, wait, so he wanted to, so like these fruits are from people's dreams and desires. I wanted to become an island.
Yeah.
Huh? No, I totally get it. Although I don't really, I mean, also, I don't know why he didn't put Senior Pink on here because
I thought the same thing. I
Like
was
swim with the Revolutionary Giant, but like instead of the clay guy, I don't think the clay guy has the same powers.
what the fuck is the green guy?
The green haired.
Yes.
That's a member of Sword. He was on Hachino's with Garp and all them.
Fuck, dude. I was like, who is this character? Is he a One Piece character? I paused this. I was like, who the fuck is the green
Yeah,
guy?
no. Yeah, he's
But he's
only
one of Kobe's
he's
little
he's
bitches.
pretty much only shown up with he's with members of
So
Sword.
what's his power? Do you know what his?
Yeah, it's clay. He's able to kind of
Oh, he's the
create
clay guy, okay.
He's able to create clay dolls. He's created a big clay net to catch all the rubble after Kobe punches Pizarro's
They're
hand.
similar, but it's like it's
Yeah.
like it's like saying that like oh whatever Blackbeard and Smoker are similar. They're like one's
Well,
made
it's
of
like saying
fucking
Akainu
darkness.
and Ace are the same.
Yeah,
Like,
one's
yeah,
lava, one's fire.
Yeah,
Like, they're
I
different,
guess I guess they're kind of the same. Like sure, but you're missing the point.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb. I get the
not
joke
a
of
fan.
it, but like yeah, I don't know.
each with different powers that make them all distinct. Asterisk. Paramecium.
Yeah, like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Just the fact that he made a joke. We all have the same power, but then he repeats the joke. He's like hammering it in. That's what makes it irritating. Like you said that
Yeah.
already.
Parameciums are silly boys that turn you into a sinky, stinky weirdo. Loogie fruit.
He didn't even explain it.
no.
What? It's like he doesn't even care. He's already showing contempt.
Well, I think he's like making this video. Like this is just a thought. It's just
Yeah.
like he knows that people that are watching this video are fans of One
Oh,
Piece. Like
undeniably.
he's making this. I think in response to like One Piece fans, like to some extent. So it's like this is basically sort of thing is like not. I don't think it's like it's always like jokingly explaining.
I just realized the likes are missing.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
That's rough. But yeah, no, I think it's always jokingly like half explaining like everything. So it's
Sure, but even just what he just did here, he was like silly guy, and then Loki he actually says what they are. They're elements.
Yeah. No, it's
You know?
it's definitely
Like,
it's definitely a problem with the format, but it's like
Yeah.
it's I think it's just what it meant to be.
actually, back to this other. I'm sorry to keep harboring on this. Where's Caribou?
Ooh, Caribou, yeah, he's sand.
Like he's mud. He would be very
Mud?
similar
Is
to
he
the
mud?
clay. He's mud, and then it was his swamp. He's swamp fruit, and then the other guy's clay, like the clay fruit.
Clay is closer to swamp than it is to stone. I
Even
would
by
say.
his powers, if like he's a gooey guy. Like
Yeah.
like come on.
There's
Whatever.
even more.
Oh, I bet we're in
Yeah.
a minute. We're in a minute 20.
And then there's furries. But they're ugly.
That joke's so fucking
Right.
stupid.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Like
I thought that was pretty funny. I think that's
it's so obvious. It's like so like, oh yeah, I guess he would say that. Like it wasn't even clever. It was just like, yep, yeah, they're furries. Yep, haha.
Oh, the furry joke.
I'm
talking about the Logia joke, I guess in particular. But like the furry joke, the zone joke is kind of just fucking. We're not here to critique the jokes. Let's fucking move on.
All right, fair enough. Because I thought this was what it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be telling jokes. It's a comedy video.
So just two people whacking each other until one of them decides to fall down.
Hell yeah. that is how it works.
Yeah.
that sure is. We love it.
Yeah, I think this criticism is pretty fair. I think he goes a little too hard on the fights, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, it's fair, but it's missing the point, I think.
Yeah.
Because, like, I actually prefer that they're that simple. Because the moment you get them to be very complicated, I do think you have the potential for having really incredible fights, like Crollo versus Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Togashi explains all this fucking detail and rules and
God, it's so
stipulations
good.
And is trying to make his way out of it.
What a good fight.
When it lands, it's peak. But that's really, really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
And when it's two characters that you care a lot about or mean a lot that they're fighting, it doesn't really matter how complicated and epic and how simplistic it is.
Yeah.
It does. It loses that kind of meaning at the end of the day. There's no nuance to this sort of point.
This next part you might have.
Oh, outrage. Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm sure some of these are good.
What do you mean Robin doesn't get any fights? She's like the strongest character.
She's like the strongest character. Not according to the bounties, she's not.
But this
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Where like she's shown very early in Alabasta to just be able to crack people's necks. How come she doesn't do that more often?
Yeah, I get what he's saying, and I would like to see more of Robin. I'm happy she got like a fight in.
The Black Maria fight was fantastic.
It was really
needless to say. Everyone's made that point, obviously. What about that one? Like, I think he's actually made a pinned no, he didn't. I remember, I think I saw him reply to a comment or somewhere where he's like, yeah, but he's like kind of excusing his way out of it. So it's an irrelevant point that she does technically have fight. Has fights.
Oh,
what?
Come aboard and bring a long chapter count for the biggest serialized adventure manga in history, destroying an island that's shaped like a circle.
Is he making a Puerto Rico joke?
What? What?
Like the comedian that was like, I think there's a floating island of garbage. I think it's called Puerto Rico. He's just calling Fishman Island garbage.
Yeah.
Is he just calling?
Oh my god! I guess it is. I didn't even think of it as a Puerto Rico joke.
Is that the joke he's making? Like, why?
I don't. I just think saying the arc is bad. Yeah.
I guess.
But I guess the way he worded it, is exactly
it makes
like
it seem that way.
That joke. Oh my god. The Puerto Rico joke is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's like, all right.
This is every single arc. Sometimes Oda gets worried that the 12-year...
And we love it. I love reading Skypiea, so if he does that again, like, yeah, do it again, please. Hell yeah. And then, I mean, I was so frustrated with, in a good way, with Rocinante's and Law's backstory, because it really was just the same thing again. And I'm like, God damn it, I love it. Like, it's the same thing, but he's so good at it. Oh, it's crazy. And like, what the fuck's wrong with that? I think he's like, gotcha.
It's there's like, even for a shonen, I feel like there's enough like variety. Like like obviously, like, it would be cooler to have more variety in the story.
You have no idea what kind of like I think a lot of the complaints that not just Jello but I think manga fans in general have with One Piece is so funny to think about in the context of what he grew up with. And the fact that he's kind of taking very similar beats, but just doing them way better.
Yeah.
It was similar with my roommate and I when our first reaction to One Piece was because this was not an entry-level show for us. We had seen a ton of other shonen like Naruto and Bleach, and I'd seen Saint Seiya and Fist of the North Star and Dragon Ball and so much other shit. So then when we finally get to One Piece, we're like, oh my god, he knows exactly what he's doing. This is the best fucking one.
No, seriously.
Oh my god. It's shocking. It's genuine. And it's like, no wonder that at the time it came out, it was a explosive success, like unparalleled. when it was coming out. Fucking it
Yeah,
was breaking
I just find
records
it
as early as fucking Alabasta and Skypiea. It's like, oh my god, this is so special.
Yeah, it's a because it's like a reaction to Dragon Ball. Like it's like the successor. It
is.
I find it
is.
really weird that you would have this reaction. I think I don't know like what kind of fan
I guess
he is. He could be
no,
a
I
Jada
think
fan
he's
like
I
me.
think he's just a very like snark because this is the thing, right? This is the guy, and I said I didn't want to go into it. This is the guy that damaged our reputation because he claimed on a blog post that he got the chance to work on the dub for this show that we were releasing, and he was bragging about how he thought the story sucked, so he was changing the dub to make it better.
Oh my god.
This is a guy who thinks he knows better.
Yeah.
And that attitude is really common with fans, I think. It's the same kind of attitude that gets you to release a video rewriting Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, if I were to rewrite Dragon Ball Super, bro, I'm just not gonna make it.
I'm just not going to do it.
I'm just not gonna make Dragon Ball Super.
No,
Okay.
it's not. No, and I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I have mutuals who I really love that do this sort of content too, and I'm not going to knock it completely because I think that it is a fun, unique, creative expression. It's something to to think about. But like but it is such an easy trap to fall into. Of like, it's very easy to turn into like, yeah, but I know better. It's pretension.
Yeah, I think it's like if you approach it with the right mindset of like, yeah, this is a fun thing. Like, I appreciate the original. I just wanted like this is what I would do. Like, I think you could make one of those kind of videos with like a positive mindset and not if you approach it with that pretentious mindset, then obviously
it's gonna sour a lot of people. It's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the reaction that people had with Attack on Titan Requiem, right? People were angry about the end of Attack on Titan, and so a bunch of fans decided to take it upon themselves to write a fan chapter, and it was demonstrably worse.
Yeah,
it was like, anyway.
He decides to draw everything on fire for a few panels and then forgets about it.
What is he talking about? Oh,
this is
okay,
the reference that he
guess-
does. He puts this guy, the
okay.
Pearl guy.
Fire!
Yeah.
He must be from the jungle!
What? Right-hand man who holds his swords like an idiot and can teleport in front of any woman. So long
Teleport in front of any woman.
as it's for sexist reasons.
What?
I don't get it. Zoro being sexist is interesting.
Like you couldn't have been like he's deathly afraid of stairs.
Yeah, I just feel like Zoro. That joke just doesn't hit because I feel like Zoro is just not sexist.
No.
Like-
Well, the thing, I you know what this interesting though? He kind of is, in an interesting way. I
think in like
definitely.
the backstory with Kuina.
Well, I
think.
highly recommend Kraftsdorf's video on Zoro and Sanji, and what it means to hit a woman, because interestingly enough, as much as Sanji goes about it in a very clumsy way and transparent way, Zoro actually appears to have more of a complex against it, because I do think he has a vendetta about never having been able to beat Kuina. Like, she died before he was able to best her. So like him trying to be the greatest swordsman is never going to be enough because he'll never be able to. So the thing that he actually has to, according to, at least I believe what Kraftsdorf was saying, the thing he actually has to overcome is this attitude with fighting women, and like his fight with the Snow Girl, like the ice
Monet.
Monet, yeah. You know, the way he handled that was very interesting and odd. I don't remember the specifics, but I remember there was something kind of like specific about that one that Kraftsdorf kind of laid out, which was really interesting. And it makes sense that like Tashigi is there watching that, like is kind of has to like help him with that, I think. So yeah. I think there is something to that, but he just kind of makes like a baseless kind of like a surface level joke. Like, the jokes are just not funny. That's the sad thing about this video. Like, there's clearly a lot of craft put into these, and that's what I liked about them initially, because I think the animation style is really appealing, and like his framing of everything.
Yeah, and the art is really cute.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's just sad that it's being used in such a kind of a caustic, not funny. He's just kind of using it to vent his complaints way.
Yeah.
We are currently in talks to replace him with the hot, suave, good version of Sanji from the Netflix adaptation.
That one hurt me.
I bet it hurt you. Damn.
That one. He said the better version, and
yeah,
then
and you're like, yeah,
like,
you've lost me. You've lost me.
You lost.
Like the man who actually agrees with many of your points. You've alienated everybody.
It has more personality than they do.
Their cast is so mid. Even their boat has more personality.
That's just so insane to me. It's just so
what, dude?
To say, like,
fucking what, dude?
That's
and and the fact, and even worse is like he's showing this during Skypiea, like when the crew, during the point in the series when the crew is at like their best dynamic with each other.
It's baffling. No, like you can criticize One Piece for a lot of things, but I feel like the personalities of the characters is like
yeah, that was a sway. Like he's so black-pilled. That's really
like
sad.
That's just like
not even Nate would say that.
Yeah, not even Nate. Yeah, that's the one thing Nate would get.
Yeah, right. He's like, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
Whoa! You didn't tell me our boat was from the jungle.
Trade your straw hat for a tin
I don't
foil
know.
one.
Wait, what?
It's a jungle joke. I think it's like a running joke in the video.
It isn't, but what is it a running joke to?
I think it's just stupid.
What's even?
Viewers. I think he's just making fun of the One Piece fandom.
We say that they're from the jungle? Like what? Huh?
I think it's.
Again, like it's a failure, not because he's saying bad shit about One Piece, but because it's not funny. It's just dumb and confusing.
Except the ones the author thinks we're supposed to like, even though they're fucking awful.
No,
They're not.
No.
They're not awful.
Well, in ways that they're very complicated. I think it's actually a really hard mix where the way that Marineford played out with Garp standing by and not doing anything, and the only time he did, I was rereading a little bit actually. The one time he really steps up is against his grandson, and he lets him go, and he lets him have it. You know,
I think that's what makes Garp and Aokiji interesting. Is just
they're interesting characters. They're very morally complex. Because it's like clearly like Aokiji means well. He's definitely the less evil, or like quote unquote, of the three original admirals. But he also joins. But he also joins Blackbeard. You know, he's incredibly morally complex. But but this is showing contempt. But I think this is the first time he's shown contempt for the readership very openly. He's like, the readers, everyone likes these characters, but you shouldn't because they're assholes. It's like you're generalizing a group of people, and you're not gonna win anybody over that way.
All slaves will eventually become racist slavers themselves.
This was an interesting point. This was
no, I think, yeah. I mean, I've never really thought too deeply into the idea of how he feels about that, but he's really only talking about one character. Really, I think he's pretty much only talking about Hody. But I don't remember how. I feel like Hody was
and like Arlong too.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's just general mistreatment, I think, in terms of Arlong, where he's just exploiting people. But Hody isn't the interesting thing about Hody is that he's kind of this is what makes him kind of a lame quote unquote character. The fact that he's sort of just cosplaying this hatred because he was a kid and never actually grew up being into that same enslavement as Fisher Tiger and Arlong and Jinbei. Yeah. Like he doesn't have the same scar that Hachin has. You know, he never experienced that. So he's sort of like vigilante cosplays. Like we're gonna, this. So that I think that's where Jello is missing the context. Like that sounds bad on its face, but he's talking about a character that is totally like short-sighted and unreasonable in his perspective because he feels like he's and I think it's just like because of the poor upbringing that he was brought into, and I think something how they see Arlong as like this hero or whatever. Yeah, it's really interesting in that way. But I get that Hody in a moment to moment basis is not cool like Enel or or Doffy or whatever.
Yeah.
When he's a loser, when you make the villain a real jerk and loser like Charlos, right?
And guess what, baby? He's from the jungle!
That jungle lore was
what does that mean?
Foreshadowed in exactly one panel, 400 chapters.
He is right. That's great. That I appreciate this roast. This one's good. This one's good. That one's funny.
If you missed it, you can always.
The cups.
The cup.
And like I really like. This is funny. That he finally. It's not a complete L for me because this is deserved. He hit him with the he hit the fucking theorists and wiki divers and got their ass. Oh my god.
Here we go.
I have seen the screenshots of this. He does cuss out fucking Yamato.
Yeah, and to like Tashigi.
Oh no! So game on. That's funny.
That's cap. Game on's the most.
No, that's funny. It's gonna be. I hope that ages so poorly, because there got to be a reason he did that. Oh my god. That everyone was like, oh, Pythagoras caught a stray.
Yeah, he honestly makes sense. I don't know.
Why didn't Oda make 5 satellites instead of 6? Whoa, like whatever, dude. He has ideas. It's funny, but but what's confusing to me at the end here. I won't go over all of them, obviously. Why did he cross out the guy that stopped Kaido from that stopped Luffy from fighting Kaido, and like interrupted their fight, but didn't get rid of the guy that was just kind of standing around and I think kills Izo, but like that's the most extent that he gets.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like there's no consistency here, you know? Why is fucking Holhem important? Like the rat guy up there, but fucking Yamato isn't. Like
there's so many characters. Yeah.
What, dude? You know what's so funny? I bet he didn't cross out Sherry, the guy between Yasop and Imu, because he voices that character in the dub.
Oh.
He can stay. He's my boy. We literally have not had a single meaningful interaction in 600 chapters. I know people have. I wonder if he's getting that tidbit from the way that like Luffy and Zoro didn't talk to each other from some point in Dressrosa to Wano.
Yeah.
There is a very long stretch where that's the case, but he makes it sound like that hasn't happened. Like even now they've not had any meaningful interaction, and that's definitely not the case.
Who's fuck-ass Joe?
I'm so glad you asked. Fuck-ass Joe has...
Yeah,
I like this part. This part's so fucking stupid.
It's really true.
Anyway, he drifted through the Calm Belt, which has no currents, and you shouldn't be able to drift through it, but I forgot. Then he met another character and became...
Look at the grammar here. But I forgot. Like, wait, dude.
Grammar Nazi shade over here.
No, I really am. Like, misspell. It's the GIF misspelled word.
Yeah.
Kill himself and accept help from or credit any of his assistants. Don't worry.
Huh?
That's such a weird, like...
Where
is the basis of that? That was
I thought I would have heard that before. You know how much shit he gets for, like, being friends with Watsuki and everything, and Tomomaku, whatever, the Toriko author. For all the shit he gets for that, like, you would think that people would hark on him more for that, but I have never heard that before.
What did the Toriko author do?
I think some. I don't know. I actually don't.
No.
I don't want to say for sure, but something similar. I don't know.
Oh no.
Not good stuff.
Fuck, I like Toriko.
Yeah, I know, but I would have heard. I feel like I would have heard about that because, you know, One Piece likes to talk about the same 10 things, but when we make a claim like that, it's like, are you just assuming, my guy? Like, that's very strange.
It's all This is all assumptions, eh?
Yeah, but then mixing it in with valid criticism is what was like. But in the context of trying to be a comedy video, like, what is the dude thinking?
It's weird.
It's so bizarre.
This is a very serious emotional story, but we don't want you to be sad when you read it.
No, it's so true, dude.
That point
like,
hits. That point hits.
It's so true with even like the in the Kuma flat. What I reminded of is the point when Bonnie's running away from, like, after being cured, she's running to the ship and everything. There's the moment of like, hey, I'll stall them for you, like I'll distract the person, and she's like, it's me, Bonnie, and he's like, Esatsuki.
Yeah.
It is funny, you know. He make it a joke.
I obviously, like, this is very generalized to the story. I just think of like the Yasui death in Wano, and that shit like hit me so hard. I thought that was like a really good moment. And I think there's so many sad moments in One Piece.
Definitely.
And I think it does a really good job of balancing the comedy and drama. But
I agree. I feel like there would be a particular moment of like an infamous, really sad moment, blindsided by a really funny moment. I think he does even things out in like even the Yasue death. He follows that up with Zoro and Sanji reuniting after so long. Like this really fucking hype moment where both of them see Toko and save her. I popped it off so hard to that, right? But but it's not like he followed that up with the bath scene, the bathhouse with Sanji being invisible in the women's bath or whatever. But he still does that but the broad versatility of like Jello's making the broad versatility of like all the things that Oda is able to do as a criticism, which is just so bizarre to me. It's like, bizarre, it's like, I don't know, dude. I like that it can do both. In fact, I love that it does both.
And not work yourself so hard that your coworkers have to force you to get surgery and to sleep. They all
see. Look, he's trying to guilt like his eyesight, his gout, his health problems, but Jello's trying to steer that sympathy away from Oda and trying to pin it on these assistants and editors.
Weird.
That like nobody's not saying that those guys deserve any congratulations or sympathy either. Does he forget like the illustrations that Oda was doing to celebrate the birth of their daughter and stuff, like they're his editor and his assistant's daughter and stuff like that? Like these guys are genuine like co-workers, and you're speculating on their fucking relationship.
It's weird.
Like
it's just kind of
so
I don't know
scummy.
What the point is here.
It's just so scummy. I think that's the worst thing, because you're using other people that you don't even say the names of. If you want to really make this claim, who are they? Like, really give them their props that you think they deserve. I think dragging other people into that is so scummy.
Your daughters care about you, Oda. You know what you can do to show them that you care about them?
Oh. Sexualize another child their age?
No, Oda. That's wrong.
Oh. Younger?
Kill it!
No.
Thanks for watching.
That's how he ends the video. Like, he's implying that, like, oh, I have my daughters, but let me sexualize them.
That's so fucked up.
It's like,
that is
really gross. Really fucking gross.
That's really
like,
gross.
You're not funny. That's not funny. What are you talking about? Like,
anime's fucking weird, dude. Anime is, I don't know. I think there's worse anime.
Definitely.
To criticize
Definitely.
sexualizing children.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
yep.
I just watched all of Mushoku Tensei, and that shit is fucking disgusting, dude. That shit is like, and that's that's like on another level, like gross and
for sure.
weird.
And it's not even the worst it could probably get,
yeah, it's I think it's just weird just bringing up his daughters and then comparing them.
Yeah, I know it.
But yeah, it was not a fun video.
No, really disappointing.
The art
and
was
like,
really good.
It's such a such a bigger, platform and stuff like that. I'm happy he's getting the pushback he's getting, because I just don't think this is very constructive. Or even just contributive. Like, it doesn't even. I don't even care if he has valid criticisms. It's not really told in a way that feels very constructive or entertaining. They're like, wow, I'm really glad I watched that video. No, I just feel bad now.
It's just a very bad faith interpretation of it. It's like the most bad faith interpretation you can have of One Piece, and that's like,
and not just of a story of another human being. Like the fact that he ends it on like really pulling you away from the story and really like trying to make this real life accusation and criticism of his character. It's like, what are we doing, dude? It's so bizarre. It's just things I don't want to see happen. It's just it's not the kind of conversation I want to have.
Yeah, it's I guess I hate to end this podcast.
I really don't want to end it on that. But you know what? I'll end it on a different sad note. Maybe. I think we can end on, because something we haven't talked about is one of the reasons I think I'm hoping Elbaf is Zo length, is just that as much as I love this story, and I think its length is an appeal, for as much as how often Jello was ragging on the length of it.
Yeah.
I love it being this long. I want it to end really badly.
Dude,
Not
I
just
really want it to end.
just because, and not like in a negative, oh, let it end or whatever. I'm exhausted. No. I would love it to keep going, but I realize that it is art, and it's not the kind of art that's like living on the way Crayon Shin-chan is, or Sazai-san, or Chibi Marco-chan, or Doraemon.
Family Guy.
And actually, well, yeah, technically, Family Guy, I think you're right as well. But at least Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane's still alive.
Yeah.
And even participating. He's actually, like, he's not the head of the show anymore. But he's still all the voices. Unfortunately, speaking of voices, as a consequence of this series going so long, there are people that can't go as long as Oda can.
Mm-hmm.
So Kazuki Yao, who is the voice for Frankie, is stepping away from the role. It was announced this weekend. And he's going to be... they're going to announce his replacement at Jump Festa, and they're going to give him a really nice send-off and, like, you know, thank and everything. And the thing is, I'm just really grateful. I've already said this on the live stream I was doing on this channel. I'm really happy that he's still alive, and we're able to celebrate his achievement and his contribution, and thank him for doing this, instead of him having passed away without being able to finish his character. Like, I get how devastating it is probably for him, and it's probably really devastating for Oda too, because he's specific. I think there was something about how, like, Frankie, he really liked Yao's performance as Django and then Bon Clay, so he kind of created Frankie in a way to really intending for Yao to play him. So for him to be the first Straw Hat to be replaced is really sad.
Yeah, it's sad, and then it's, you know, like, it brings way for, like, oh.
Yeah. Well, you realize the fucking mortality of all these guys. I really, really want them not just for my sake of being able to hear their performances in the end, but even just for their hard work, because they've invested a lot of emotional time into this story as well. By voicing them, I want them to be able to see the end of it and see where the character that they've put so much time and care into end up, you know. I want them to know what the One Piece, you know. I think they've said that Oda has not told them what it is. He's only told he's obviously told a good number of people, but he's not told any of the voice actors specifically. Yeah, so I'm really happy that Yao is still with us, so he can still be kind of along for the ride and hopefully get to see the end of Frankie's character, even though he unfortunately won't be able to play him at the same level that he wanted to. Like, he said that, like, I can't it was something along the lines like, I can't really do it the same way I've been able to. Yeah. Which people have been able to hear for a while, yeah. I think.
It's like hearing like Marge Simpson.
Yeah.
It's like,
it is like that.
The voice actors are getting up there.
Yeah, 100%. And
like, you feel that.
It's rough. It really is. I mean, even Milhouse just recently stepped away as well. That's the only reason that I really want this to finish, is so that this 25 years it's going to go on 30 by this point. This effort was seen through to the end. I want that so badly. Yeah. So in terms of who's replacing, and that's also like with the Fishman Island log thing. As much as I want them to do Punk Hazard and Dressrosa, if they did Dressrosa, and they even just went so far as to divide the length in half, if they're able to do it twice as fast like they're doing in Fishman's going from 58 to 21.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Even if they were able to speed Dressrosa up by 2, it would still be 50 episodes, which would air for like an entire year. So an entire year without the anime catching up. And then it is remained to be seen if the adaptation will be any different once they come off the 6-month hiatus, which they've never, to my knowledge, they've never done something like this. It's never been off for that long. No. And that's really encouraging. And it's only encouraging for the fact that, like, what's coming up next for Egghead is so logistically difficult, especially after what they just put out with Shanks, Kid, and then Garb Kuzan, and everything that they've been able to accomplish with Egghead so far. It just demands that much more with the Gorosei coming up and Kuma's flashback. So they need that time. And I think I feel like it's going to be the same pace, the same like one chapter per episode type of deal, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
And in terms of who replaces Frankie, Yao as Frankie, Django had already been recast.
Oh, okay.
And it was recast by Wataru Takagi. And Wataru Takagi played Bellamy. He's also played Vanderdecken.
Okay.
But my favorite roles of his are Obito in Naruto, Okuyasu in JoJo Part 4.
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. He's so good
Yeah.
in JoJo Part 4.
Yeah, he's really
Okuyasu's-
great. I think, yeah. And then he's also...
I think he could be a good Frankie.
Yeah,
for sure.
he's a phenomenal voice actor. He's one of my favorites. I love him as Obito so much because he has so much incredible range. So and he's a pretty big... I think he's pretty big in terms of, named recognition in voice actors, in terms of popularity or whatever. It is all up to what Oda wants, but I think that's a good hint. If he's already replaced one of Yao's characters, he can probably replace Frankie, and I would love to hear him every episode because I love Wataru Takagi so much. But anybody they choose, I trust it because Oda is very likely involved. They had a lot of talks about it. This is such a hard decision to make.
Yeah.
And they probably wouldn't have made this decision if they didn't find someone to replace him already.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it makes sense. That I also hope it ends just because of that. It would be nice to see all the voice actors' voice finding the One Piece.
Yeah.
It's like very
even just them
very
knowing
cathartic.
it, even them being able to if
Yeah,
they live
it's-
long enough to see the manga finish, it would suck balls if the anime doesn't make it there in time. If the manga finishes and then it takes them another year or two and they don't make it.
I just think One Piece is. I really hope. Yeah, no, I think in that aspect, maybe I do hope. Elbaf's a little shorter. I do just think all the arcs should be a little shorter.
I do think a genuine criticism for One Piece is that he indulged a lot starting in Dressrosa. I think Dressrosa and Whole Cake are the two arcs that I thought.
And Wano.
No, I thought Wano was
Bro.
honestly I thought Wano made a lot of sense with the culmination from Punk Hazard and building up Kaido specifically. The way Fujitora took Luffy to town after he beat Doffy, and he's like, "Look, you're not ready to."
No, I understand the setup.
Yeah,
I'm just
and
I think when I think of Indulge, I think of all of the characters he introduces and
Yeah, I know.
having
I
too
see what you
much
mean.
going on.
You're right. You're right that there is that aspect of Wano of Whole Cake and Dressrosa present in Wano. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me too much because, what it results in is more than worth it to me. Yeah, I would say that's the one thing about it. But then again, it's I would love to rewatch Whole Cake because of the stuff that does with Sanji and Pudding.
Yeah, no, reading Whole Cake was really fun. I think it's a good arc. It's one of my favorite ones. I think.
they're all special. That's the thing. And yeah. Anyway, yeah.
One Piece is good, and he's on hiatus. One day he'll be back.
Oh yeah,
taking
it's
health
been
breaks.
yeah. What happened was he
This is live
he
action,
took a
right?
he took a 2-week break to visit South Africa to visit the live action, and then he came back for one chapter, and he was gonna do another chapter, but then he fell ill.
Yeah.
Which was so unexpected that they didn't announce it
The
until
One
it
Piece
was,
live action was so bad it made Oda sick. That's basically that's season 2 was so.
he got
terrible.
one look at Chopper and fell ill.
He fainted, but he got paid $20 million, so he's okay with it.
Hell yeah. No, it just so happened to line up with a break week at that point, so he missed his point, and he actually made an author's note after that in the chapter later, because he was just like, fuck, after I said I was ready to keep going, I was like, oh shit, sorry.
My bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2025, he's been taking a lot of breaks, so hopefully
Yeah.
it would be nice if Elbaf ended next year. That would be cool.
I just
But
want
ending.
good shit. I can't wait. And I've really loved Elbaf a lot so far. I think it's been nonstop jaw drop. I unbearably excited for every chapter that drops for it.
I hope I can have some of that optimism, but I'm not at the same place.
Can I get some of that? What character do you think if not that Shanks makes an appearance, but like if you got Shanks content, like what do you think if you could call something is like, can you give me this?
Give me the Usopp.
Give us some good Usopp. Okay.
Give me the good Usopp, and then I'm in.
Yeah.
Fair
Okay.
character,
Yeah.
and
When he breaks it open with because I know he's taking care of Usopp as he calls it, but yeah, once he really is like, with Usopp, yeah, that'll be great.
I need some of that.
Hell yeah.
We'll
give
see
me
if
some
we
of
get that. I guess.
Alrighty. Thank you guys so
Alright.
much for listening. Yeah, peace.
Bye.